When was the last time you did not ask yourself how many books have you read or what is going to be your next read, but instead asked yourself, why do you read? This is the question that you're going to sit with today's book. The book that I'm talking about is Every Day I Read. It's by Hwang Boreum. She is the author who wrote the international bestseller Welcome to the Dong Bookshop, if you remember that book. She's a Korean author. In fact, this book was her first book that she wrote in her early 30s, soon after she quit her corporate career as a software engineer. And books have been a huge part of her journey and they were her companions. So this book is like a love letter or her ode to the books. Let's talk about what this book is really about. So this reading this book is honestly going to make you feel like you are sitting in a cafe opposite to your friend who loves reading and who loves books as much as you, and you guys are exchanging that love. First thing first, what this book is not about. It's not a productivity manual. It's not a book that's going to tell you how to read or how you can develop this reading tracker. No, it's not that. It is something much more meaningful, comforting, and quiet. So, what is it? This book is a collection of 53 bite sized essays that the author writes on, why she loves reading and what reading means to her, and what are some of the reading habits that as book lovers we have. This book has beautiful titles, some of which I'm going to read it to you, which will give you an idea about what these essays are about. For example, the author talks about how you should read bestsellers, but how you should also read beyond bestsellers, find out the hidden gems in the bookstores, how you should always read on the train. She talks about underlining and annotations. You might not remember the entire book, but that's the reason we underline, so that we remember the good sentences and we can come back to them. She talks about how you can use a timer app. When you pick up a thick book, you get overwhelmed. How are you going to read it? But she says that put yourself a timer, 20 minutes nonstop, read it, take a break, and then again put a 20 minutes timer. She talks about why you should be reading classics. Sometimes they can be boring or again overwhelming, but it's important you read them. How you don't always have to finish a book. Life is too short to read boring books. So if you're not connecting with the read, it's okay sometimes to part ways with it. She talks about the joy of collecting quotes. I love underlining when I read, just for the fact that I can collect these amazing bookish quotes. She talks about how it is important to read slowly, something that I've been, consciously doing this year. I don't want to read just to hit a number. I want to read slowly and absorb every book that I read. She talks about how you should read when you're happy, when you're anxious, and the moments in between, basically every time. She talks about reading silently versus reading aloud. It depends what kind of a reader you are, and every both has its pros and cons. She talks about read during the holidays. Always make sure when you're traveling you have a book with you. She talks about parents who read, that how it is important when a kid has parents around him or her who reads, there are chances that they're going to pick up a book. She talks about read beyond what you're interested in. And I think another one following to it was read difficult books. So she says that make your reading list deep and wide. And I think that is something that I want to consciously do. Read difficult books, read books on science, read books about usually the topic that I wouldn't pick. And I think that is so important because she says that, that opens up your mind to newer things and perspectives. And lastly, she talks about if books disappeared from the world. That was a depressing thought and a chapter. But I think these titles would have given you the idea about, I mean, these are just few that I named. There are 53, like I said, but what the book is really about. What I loved about the book is that, between all these titles, the author has threaded her book recommendations, her personal book recommendations, and some of them are really nice. I, in fact, made a note of it. I added some of those books in my Amazon book wish list that I have. So I really enjoyed her book recommendations. What I also love about the book is that it doesn't romanticize reading, and it doesn't says that how you should be reading more. I think the author meets you just where you are. Three things that I love about the book: the format. Like I said, the bite-sized essays doesn't demand a lot from you. You can just read one essay a day or during your commute. Second thing, the book makes you reflect. I mean, after a while, I sat with the book and really thought that why I do love reading so much, or what joy the reading brings to me, and why do I love books, and everything that I do as a reader. I think this book really made me reflect on that. And like I said, this book doesn't, the third thing that I loved is that it doesn't romanticize reading. It says that reading can be hard and you can fall out of your love for reading, and you can take months and then come back. It's okay. So even if you are a reader who reads, for example, 100 books a year or maybe just 5 books a year, author says it's okay. She'll meet you where you are. So you will find something which is motivating and comforting in this book. So all in all, I think this book is for two people: people who love books and who wants to be seen in their love for books, people who have fallen out of love for books and want to find their way back to it. Then this is the book. I would give this book 4 out of 5 stars, honestly. And, also, it's not a book that you read in one go. No, this is a book that you keep at your bookshelf. You keep coming back to it when you don't want to feel lonely in your love for books. You're going through a reading slump, and you just want to be reminded about how much you love books. I think that's when you come to this book. So, yes, that's all on this wonderful book, which honestly feels like a love letter, truly a love letter to books and reading, and to each reader out there. You should definitely check this book out. If not for anything, the cover. I love the cover of the hardcover. I think you should definitely check it out. That's all on this book. Let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious. Why do you read books? What makes reading so special to you? I'm going to see you guys next week with another title, because I have a long reading list that's waiting for me. But you take care, and I really hope that you keep reading. Bye bye.